Hey guys, once again, I have to preface this. If you do like my videos and you want to subscribe to the channel, then please do so. I'm trying to grow this thing and it's hard work. It's actually really hard work. It's pretty stressful. So when I see those viewership numbers go up or the subscribing numbers go up, it makes me feel like people actually give a shit. And that makes me feel like I want to keep going with the channel and keep pushing forward. Again, no pressure, but if you do like the channel, then please subscribe. I was recommended to watch this video. I know nothing about this guy, Celtanian Chronicles. I haven't seen this video. It's got an interesting title, so I thought I'd watch it on the cuff, and you guys can react as I react. The White Race's Destiny, Prophecies They Fear You Knowing. Interesting. And again, I want to do something like this because, look, I'm smiling. I'm not watching some horrific news where it depresses me beyond belief. And that's good. That's a good thing. I think I should mix things up a little bit and not just do like the horrific stuff constantly, because it's not good for my mental framing and it's not good for your cardiac health. As many people in the comments have said to me before, are you trying to kill me, Dino? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Okay, so let's mix it up a little bit, all right? Let's see what this is about.
The legionary spirit is that fire of one who will choose the hardest road, who will fight to the death even when all is already lost. Julius Evola. Across centuries, mystics, philosophers, and occultists all believed there was a destiny written and predicted for Europe and for the white race. From Icelandic sagas to Vienna's rune priests.
So I have heard something about this, but I'm not really a religious guy. I prefer Christianity above pretty much any other religion, apart from maybe Buddhism, but let's be honest, that's not going to be the one that wins out. So, you know, if I was going to choose, I'd choose Christianity. So, again, not super religious, don't know much about this stuff. Let's just see.
From Wagner's stage to Himmler's castle to esoteric writers after 1945, each of them theorized the same story: decline, struggle, and a promised return of the white race. Is this what is happening today? So where did this idea come from? And why did so many believe it was worth fighting for, even dying for? Over 2,000 years ago, the Book of Enoch spoke of a chosen future. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the days of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. In the north, the Völuspá gives its version: the sun shall be darkened, earth sinks in the sea, glide from the heaven the glittering stars, smoke reek rages and reddening fire, the high heat licks against heaven itself.
So I'll just preface, guys, I'm always a little bit unsure about prophecies and things like this. It drives people crazy. They do mental things. Look at what they're doing right now in Jerusalem because they had a red moon or something. And now they're blowing all these fucking trumpets or something. It's just like strange behavior. I don't really get it, but I understand. Like if you're religious, you might believe this stuff or you might get really into it. I don't get it too much. I think prophecies are kind of open to interpretation, and often it's quite bad actors that grapple or hold on to these things and push them right to the extremes.
Those lines became the basis for a racial prophecy in Europe. Guido von List and Lons von Liebenfels read ancient runes as a future for Aryo-Germans. Wagner's people combined the lines in national myth. The NS ritualized it at Wewelsburg. In their ideology, the destiny of a people was written in books and in symbols, and no symbol carried more power than the runes. The Havamal comes from the poetic Edda, written down in Iceland in the 1200s, but the verses themselves are older, pasted down by memory long before they were copied into a manuscript. Who first spoke them, or why, is unknown. The authors are lost forever. One stanza says, "I took up the runes, shrieking I took them, and forthwith back I fell." Havamal 140. The runes weren't treated as letters, but as power seized out of the bones of the world. Another passage says, "Runes shalt thou find, and fateful signs, that the mighty..."
And I've also heard that runes can give you the dragon shout, which is the only way that I've really interacted with them personally.
Gods have made. Havamal 143, not invented by men, but discovered. as if destiny was already placed into the order of the universe. By the early 20th century, the runes were being used to argue that Europe's fate was not in decline. Gorsleben wrote that the runes were a link between the macrocosm and the microcosm of Aryan man, a representation of God in the world.
That's a word that we haven't heard for a while, Aryan. You know, there's nothing inherently wrong with that word. It just describes a group of people that look like me and you.
Suggestion being that destiny itself was written into the race. He also claimed they had arisen from the original relationship between the human racial spirit of the godsons and the world spirit, and they could lead the true seeker back to his cosmic homeland. What he meant by cosmic homeland wasn't a country on a map, but the idea of an original place of origin, Hyperborea, Thule, the lost northern homeland where the race began and to which it was destined to return. A statement of survival and return, not extinction. Guido von List made the same point, but from another angle. He distinguished between letter runes and holy signs and described them as marks of fate. All events without exception are in the great web of fate. The oldest Aryan mystics already recognized this and therefore portrayed the rulers of fate, the three Norns, as weavers of fate. He even believed the victory rune was proof. Fear not death, it cannot kill you. List was
The victory rune. Okay, I'm going to remember that one. It's just an arrow pointing upwards. It's cool.
Influenced by the pan-Indo-European idea that death is not final, which came from several groups, the Celts, Anglo-Saxon and Norse. The message running through all of this was that they did not see the destiny of the European people as ending. They believed fate itself was about struggle, survival, and renewal. To join the Thule Society,
I would agree with that, and all the people in the comments that say, it's over, we can't possibly win, it's the end of days, that's it, we're finished, no more hope. I don't like you people. Like, you're just doomers. There's no need for that shit. There's absolutely no way we can't turn this around.
You had to sign a blood declaration saying you had no Jewish or coloured ancestry. New members also got a small booklet with runes on it. It warned of a conspiracy to destroy the German and Aryan race through mixing and called for strict racial purity laws.
Well, holy shit, that didn't turn out true, did it? Fucking hell. Look at the way they're pushing mass immigration now and calling you a racist for saying that you don't want to do it. You know, what was it? Who was it? Is it Bletchley or something? Something Bletchley, the ex-police officer that was... I made a video about it the other day. And he was saying that these immigrants that are in our country, we need to just breed with them and mix our skin to skin, so that we make a new... What the fuck? What are you talking about? No, we don't. So there is a weird push for that. And I've seen it from many different people, many different people. So I don't agree with that at all. I want the English to be English. I want the Germans to be German. I want everyone just to remain who they are and be proud of it.
On the cover was Wolvator, a Teutonic form of Odin, alongside a cross shaped like a swastika. His rune is the R rune. From today on, our symbol is the red eagle, which warns us that we must die in order to live. Where did these ideas come from? Writers like Blavatsky were already talking about entire peoples rising and falling in cycles, saying the Americans were just a temporary race that would soon degenerate and give way to a new sub-race. Helena Petrovna
Well, I mean, look, there's been plenty of mention of this happening to the Europeans as well. They call it the European Negroid. Now, if anyone has seen the videos that mention this, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about.
Blavatsky was a mystic, and she was the founder of Theosophy, one of the most influential esoteric movements of the 19th century. Her theories suggested that history wasn't written in the lives of kings or parliaments, but in the rise and fall of races across cosmic time. In The Secret Doctrine, 1888, she explained, "The lowest races of men are now rapidly dying out. Nothing can save those that have run their course. It would be necessary to extend their destined cycle. Extinction, she insisted, was not by chance, it was law. Blavatsky described humanity as moving through a series of root races and sub-races.
See, here's my problem with these, what do you call them? Prophecies. Don't know why I couldn't think of that word. So this is the problem with these prophecies, because they can be used against you just as easily as you can use them. And every different religion has their prophecies. And what we're seeing right now with mass immigration being pushed into Europe, that's also part of someone else's philosophy. So I don't really like them very much. Although I guess if I'm winning, philosophies are fine. If I'm losing, they're shit.
Each destined to dominate, then degenerate, and finally vanish. Even Europe, she said, was only temporary. The human races are born one from the other, grow, develop, become old, and die. Occult philosophy teaches that even now, the new race and races are preparing to be formed, and that it is in America that the transformation will take place. The germs of the sixth subrace. In Theosophist
that doesn't sound good.
Ideology, America was the crucible where that new race would form, and that Europe was already living on borrowed time. And when you look at Britain and Europe today, with its mass immigration, collapsing borders, and leaders who are allowing their nations to be destroyed, it's hard not to hear Blavatsky's warning. Add to that the wars in Ukraine, the endless conflict in Israel and Palestine, and the growing unrest across the globe, it feels less like stability and more like the kind of turbulence she said would mark the death of one age and the birth of another.
I mean, when it comes to Ukraine, I've been pretty steadfast with my views on this from the beginning. I just think it's a white meat grinder. I think it's specifically there just to produce the population.
But Blavatsky wasn't the first to frame history this way. Long before Theosophy, apocalyptic visions were already being written about in ancient prophecies. The Sibylline oracles were apocalyptic prophecies written by Jewish and early Christian writers, but framed as if spoken by ancient prophetesses. In them, Judea is called the nation of the mighty God, a people chosen to guide all of mankind.
It's not very original, is it?
After disaster. Another passage is about Rome, describing a white, many-headed kingdom from the Western Sea that would rule many lands and shake the world. These ideas came from the Sibylline oracles, where Jewish and early Christian writers made cosmic claims about which nations would survive catastrophe and take command of the future.
Did they mention Britain? Because, Britain was quite a small provincial island back then. They probably had no idea of how mighty and great that would be. So if they directly proselytized the rise of Britain, I'll give it some credence. But Rome already existed back then. It's not really, and it was like a superpower. So it's not like it was a stretch.
With war once again breaking out in the same region, are we watching those ancient prophecies play out? Joachim of Fiore, the patron saint of paranoia, was a 12th century Italian monk who believed history itself unfolded in prophetic stages.
The patron saint of paranoia. Imagine what a fucking pain in the ass that guy would have been to actually get patronized. Is it patronage, sainted? I don't know what you call it. Again, not super religious. But you've got to be a pretty annoying guy. That's how they're going to remember you forever.
He divided time into 3 great ages. The age of the Father, the age of the Son, and a coming age of the Spirit. In his own lifetime, he was convinced that he stood at the threshold of apocalypse. In the booklet, Joachim of Fiore, it states, Joachim concluded that he was living in the 6th phase, when an apocalyptic battle would occur, after which the millennial kingdom will be established. What set Joachim apart from other medieval visionaries was his insistence that destiny wouldn't wait for the distant end times. The same book explains, he taught that the millennial kingdom of Revelation would come into being before the great final end times. The new world order could be inaugurated by taking direct social political action.
No.
It's a vision that still feels relevant when we look around today. Joachim argued that entire peoples would pass through tribulation, and that history itself moved in cycles of collapse and renewal, with wars breaking out in the same lands that influenced the Bible, with talk everywhere of new world orders and battles over who will guide humanity into the next century. His prophecy doesn't read like a dead medieval fantasy. It reads like a template, the belief that one people's struggle could decide the fate of the future.
And do you know what's terrifying about this? I think the elitists, like the people that are really in charge of things and that have the most power, I think they actually believe this shit. Only they think they're the chosen people. It's just, again, prophecies. Very easy to go a little bit cuckoo when you believe in them.
The Aurora Linda book is one of the strangest and most controversial I've read. In 1867, a Dutchman named Cornelis Over de Linden presented the manuscript he said had been passed down in his family. Copied from much older manuscripts, supposedly stretching back over 2,000 years. Over de Linden and later Ottomer, who put it forward as a lost Frisian chronicle, but scholars quickly branded it a forgery. The rejection, however, may not have been purely about language or dating. The text openly described a primordial white race, tracing its survival through floods and empires.
Oh, what did you call? They used to be called something. What was it? He's probably going to say the name, but like they're predicted to have built the real Egypt before the other Egyptians just started carving shit all over it.
And connecting European destiny to their bloodline. For critics who feared the political implications, dismissing it as a fake was the safest option. Whether it was truly ancient or not, the controversy became part of its power. A book declared too dangerous to be believed. The Aurora Linda book.
Dangerous for who? Doesn't sound like it's going to be dangerous for white people.
Lays out a racial myth. The earth itself, Eartha, gives birth to three maidens, Lida, Finda, and Freya.
I'll take this one, thanks. This one's fine.
Lida is black, Finda is yellow, Freya is white as snow at dawn, with eyes brighter than the rainbow, and the book is clear. Of these, all men came. It's a myth of origins, dividing humanity into three branches, but it places...
Do you think this is why Hollywood just refuses to cast ginger people?
Freya and her descendants in the role of lawgivers and preservers of freedom. The passages about Finda drive this home by contrast. Her people had golden laws but fell into corruption, war, and blood. The earth overflowed with blood, and your children were mown down like grass. The message is simple. The darker branches of humanity are doomed to fall into ruin, while Freya's people, white, northern, European, are portrayed as the ones who survive, preserve liberty, and carry civilization forward.
Well, that pretty much happened. So, okay, prophecy fulfilled?
This is why the Aurora Linda book is so important to our theme. It isn't just talking about myths of the past, it's laying down a prophecy of destiny. Survival doesn't belong to everyone equally, it belongs to Freya's children. That's why Volkish and esoteric writers seized on it. To them, this wasn't just a fake chronicle, it was a suppressed memory, proof that Europe's fate had always been to endure catastrophe and rise again as the ruling race. The rest of the text repeats that pattern. Floods wiping out civilizations, empires collapsing, but Freya's descendants enduring through it all. The implication is that the European race will go through the same again. Disaster, destruction, chaos, but that they are fated not to vanish, but to return to power once more.
There you go, guys. That must make you feel good. That must make you feel good.
Up to now, so many voices have told the same story. Collapse, catastrophe, the end of Europe as we know it. From the Sibylline oracles to Blavatsky's secret doctrine, the message was always the same. Nations rise and nations fall. And today, with Europe facing a projected 6% population decline by 2100 amid record low fertility rates and millions net migrants in recent years and populist surges across the continent accusing leaders of surrendering national
Fucking traitors, every single one of you. I hope you all get the worst kind of cancer.
sovereignty to Brussels' globalist agendas, it's easy to believe that prophecy has already come true. At moments like this, it's worth remembering the words Tolkien gave to Gandalf in the Fellowship of the Ring.
All right, now I love this channel. If he's going to start to quote Tolkien, that is it. 100%. Sign up, go to this guy's channel, subscribe.
Even the very wise cannot see all ends. Despair is only for those who see the end beyond all doubt.
Yes.
We do not. That reminder that collapse is never the full story opens the door to thinkers like Julius Evola. Evola didn't deny decline. In fact, he doubled down on it. The modern world is marching toward the abyss. Its progress is regression. Its humanism is subhuman. What is needed is not adaptation, but revolt.
Yeah.
And revolt, for us, means refusing to sync with the crowd. But unlike Blavatsky, who saw Europe doomed to be swept away, Evola believed decline was only the prelude. Catastrophe was not extinction, it was...
It's that thing where it's weak men build strong... I'm going to find it. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Love that. Awesome.
Purification. For him, race was not only blood, but spirit. Race is not only in the body, it is also in the soul and in the spirit.
Yeah.
The true meaning of Aryan is not a matter of blood alone, but of an inner form, a higher type of being.
All right, well, they're definitely going to call you racist for saying that, but do you give a shit?
That inner form is what every man must awaken in himself today, not waiting for leaders, not waiting for saviors, but carrying it within.
Yeah.
The destiny of Europe, he argued, lay in whether its peoples could reawaken that inner form in the middle of collapse. In Men Among the Ruins, he wrote, "The fate of civilizations depends on a few men who are capable of standing, who do not yield, who keep the tradition alive when everything else falls into ruin. Be one of the few. Stand when others bow. That is the test." Collapse, for him, was the filter. As he said in Revolt Against the Modern World, when a cycle comes to its end, the masses perish with it. What remains is the seed, the few who have preserved the flame through the storm. From them, a new race, a new cycle begins.
And that makes complete sense to me as well. Once you get rid of the chaff, once you get rid of the weeds, you're only left with the strongest men with the deepest roots.
The message running through Evola is that the destiny of the European people was not to vanish, but to endure, not as a mass, but as a remnant. The man who has the strength to remain standing when everything disintegrates, who can ride the tiger, he alone is the man of the future. Miguel Serrano, an esoteric Hitlerist, mystic poet of the invisible war. Serrano believed that defeat was never final, loss was temporary. What mattered was the inner flame, the seed that carries over through ruin. As he says, there is no destiny for all of mankind, only for some. To recover their divinity, a God conscious of himself. To achieve this is the meaning of esoteric Hitlerism. When one arrives at such a state, one becomes the UFO, or the Vimana itself, where we shall meet the Führer and the warriors of the last battalion. In that sentence, Serrano turns destiny into a choice. Not everyone is meant to fall. Some are meant to stand, consciously filled with myth and purpose. He moves the battlefield from earth to spirit. He teaches that this fight is archetypal. For me, esoteric Hitlerism is being possessed by the archetypes of the collective unconscious, which the Greeks used to call gods. Not a political ideology alone, but an awakening, not of masses, but of the deeper, mythic self. This
I can get why you'd say that, but yeah, inner strength. Just call it inner strength. I mean, sure. Sorry, I was sure.
Is a call to rise above politics, to awaken the self that history cannot bury. Blood for Serrano is not a biological detail, it is mystery. There is nothing more mysterious than blood. The Aryan Hyperborean blood, the light of the black sun, of the green ray. The blemish of modern decay.
I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds kind of freaky deaky. Cool, but freaky deaky. I guess I just need to learn more of this history. Because it's our history, guys. It's real stuff. He's not just making this shit up. The fact we've never heard of this might be in itself a tactic.
He does not erase what is built into the very lines of one's blood. He imagines a transformation. Our material world falls into disarray. Technology decays. Spirit collapses. But out of that dark age emerges a hero, a man awakened. Hitlerism transformed itself into a new religious faith, able to change the materialistic man of today into a new idealistic hero, where the beyond life is as important as life itself. All that doom you've heard, the prophecies, the excavations, Evola's ruin, was leading here. A vision of Europe's destiny, not in extinction, but in rebirth. Even when the world falls, some become the seed. Even when history seems to end, a new myth begins.
Okay, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. I do believe that makes complete sense. You know, if you're going to push people right to the edge, a lot of people will give up, a lot of people will stumble, a lot of people will fall, a lot of people will even go over to the other side. They'll lose faith in themselves, they'll lose faith in their country, they'll lose faith in their culture, their history, their fellow man, and they'll lose faith in the future. Now, it's up to you personally whether you fall into that trap. It's up to you personally whether you've got the spiritual strength to keep going, whether you've got the inner strength to keep going. It's up to each person individually to get up every day and say, fuck you, I will rage against the dying of the light. And each person has that choice. Each person needs to make that personally, whether they will give up or whether they will get up each day and keep fighting the fight. And I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, because I did. I'll see you later.